Hey Darius, can you hear us?
Oh, okay. Oh, and then that would be like a select, right? A select component. It's true.
Darius?
Hi, Darius. Okay, I think Lincoln, you can get started. Hopefully, maybe Darius is somewhere where he can't speak, but I think you can get started with your agenda.
Okay, so the agenda is basically going through the feedback that we've had from the testing, which is right now that's primarily Herbert's feedback, and then a few things I observed this week. But I feel like each of these things basically needs input from either Andrew or Darius. So yeah, like basically we have no tickets to demo this week, so it's just basically between us and the product owners. So if we cannot get a hold of Darius, then I'm not sure how we shall proceed.
Well,
all right, cool. So let's jump in. Sorry for the delay, guys. Okay, so we're basically going to discuss about 3 points today only. So the first was the update functionality was postponed to MVP Plus. The second is so the issue of making sure that we are importing from the latest release version of SEAL, not just the latest version. So I posted something on Talk about there being only one SEAL version on both deployments. And Andy said it would be fine if we simply only put release SEAL versions, only deployed release SEAL versions, so that there's no chance of us having to pull from non-released versions. Okay, so
sorry, I lost audio for a sec, but you said we want to make sure there's only released SEAL isn't get deployed.
Yes, that is correct.
But the head version will also always be there, regardless.
So Andy said he's not managing SEAL using this this currently. So I don't think that the head will be there if we don't manually deploy it. I don't know if I'm mistaken on that.
I guess it's possible that the way it's implemented, it's possible to load it without the head version, but I don't know. That seems odd to me. I mean, I would usually expect that head is kind of automatically there.
Okay, so shall we get feedback from Payne, or
I guess we have to get feedback from Payne. Sorry. So Andy suggested that because he's not yet managing the dictionary there, we can just get around this by only deploying the released versions, and then you don't need to solve this in code.
That is correct, yes.
Okay. We'll have to talk to John Payne about whether that's going to work out or not. It is definitely...
Yes, Darius.
Sorry, no, I was going to say it is definitely the case that he's not yet managing the CL dictionary there. So yeah, that may be a workaround.
Okay, so let me just add this to the thread that Cynthia created, so that Dan will be able to confirm this.
Okay.
Okay, this is possible. Okay, so other than that, there are just a few things that Herbert pointed out that were not covered last week. So let me just share my screen. Hope you guys can see Firefox. So let me just run through these comments. So let's see. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so the first was around. So okay, there's a scenario that is on the sheet that said. Just a moment. That said. Add answers. Sorry, let me just find the right scenario. Okay, so it said create a diagnosis concept, set data type to coded. So we just need clarity here. So like, did you mean use the create other type of concept option? Because Herbert was confused around there not being answers. Like there not being an answers option on this type of concept. Darius. I think we've lost that. Mic check. We might have lost Darius again, unfortunately. Okay, I guess let's give him another minute.
Sorry, having trouble with Zoom, and I just switched to Wi-Fi. Can you tell me what row it is that you were talking about?
So the row is 36.
Oh wait, sorry, I can't see the spreadsheet. Oh, okay, you said 26?
36.
36. Okay, so yeah, sorry, what I think is being said there is if you create, wait, I wonder who wrote this test case, was it me? Yeah, okay, right, sorry. So you go through the UI, and you do a create a diagnosis concept through, like, from the dropdown. So you've created a concept whose type is diagnosis. When you do that, there should be no dropdown for the possible answers, right? And it should automatically be created with data type is NA and class is diagnosis.
So can you see that? Yes.
That's sort of that's the first step, that you just do the regular created diagnosis functionality.
Yeah.
Now, the context here is it happens that historically, sometimes people have used those before they learned the best practice. They would have a question like malaria, yes, no, instead of the current way where we would just like malaria to just be a choice option in a list. So, right, okay, yeah, so the test is here. If you try to edit the concept that you created it as a diagnosis, you try to edit it so that you change its class, or you change its data type to coded, which basically means you should be able to specify answers for it, then in fact you should get the right widget appear. The right widget should appear to let you specify answers.
Okay, let me just check that.
That's the sort of best outcome. The second best outcome would be if at least you're not allowed to change the data type. Then at least it's consistent, although that might be a future feature request. But what would be bad is if the bad outcome would be if you can you can change the data type to coded, but doing so does not give you the answers. The way to set the answers.
Okay, so you're saying that the bad behavior is being able to change this. So like that data type should not be updatable, right?
I mean, if you can change the data type, it also needs to allow you to create the specify the answers.
So I think we'd agreed that all concepts, like while editing, you can be you're able to add answers to all concepts.
Okay.
Was that not the?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. Although one thing that maybe we didn't specify and we should have is that you should only be able to add answers if the data type is coded. Like if the data type is something else, like for example, NA in particular, but also other data types, you should only be able to specify answers, if data type is coded.
So answers only when the data type is coded. So that particular thing is MVP, right?
Yes.
So answers only when the data type is coded. Let's see. Okay, so what if someone changes the data type to coded after? From coded after the concept already has answers.
We should remove the answers. Like the new version that gets saved should not have answers.
Okay, so this applies to only answer mappings, not set mappings. There's no such requirement for sets or other mapping types.
Correct. In the OpenMRS user interface, I think there might actually be like a checkbox for is a set. And then if you check that, then you get the widget, but I don't think that's a requirement. I think it's fine.
Okay, so basically,
set numbers and other mappings are not affected by this.
Right. So answers only when the data type is coded. If it does have answers, we should remove the answers.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Okay, so the other question was around what sources should appear here. Currently, we are showing all public sources. Is that the expected behavior?
Sorry, where this is in the...
This is creating a mapping. This is creating a mapping.
All public sources. It should include all sources in the OCL dictionary. I guess all public ones. So I mean, the important thing is that the following things need to be there: CL, SNOMED, and like ICD-10, LOINC, like some of the things that are there as the things that are in OCL already as kind of the external sources, those are the most important ones. And then CL is important. But yeah, I think the answer is all public sources. Sorry, let me look at that drop down again.
Pardon?
Right, so some of those, is it feasible for us to give a list of the ones that should show up at the top?
No.
Of that drop down?
No, it's
not really. Like
it's
just to have it. Okay. Not to like have it sorted where we specify which ones go, or all right. Then that's fine for MBB.
I mean, we could manually like move them to the top of the list when the response comes back.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. If we can give you a list of like, here are the 10 important ones, because there are a whole bunch of, and like you sort it so that if it's any of those 10, they go up to the top.
Okay, concepts, resources, top of the list. Okay, so
That's not strictly MVP, but it would be very, I mean, I guess it's not strictly MVP, but it's very close.
Okay, and so this list would come from the old, so from the old OCL. Okay, so like how would we tell? Let me just jump to the Open Concept Lab. Like how would we identify that particular list of sources?
No, like we would literally give you a hard-coded list, like we would tell you which names or something or IDs to put up top.
Okay, so you will share this list?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, ideally we would have a different, we ideally have a source or a collection or something, a source in OCL that represents this. But I think for to be quicker, we could just, if it's, is it easier to do that, or is it easier to, for us to just give you a hard-coded list?
Yeah, I think for MVP it's easier to have a hard-coded list because anything involving a backend change right now is not ideal. Darius?